Hey guys, today we will look into the Indus Valley civilization and why it is called an urban civilization. The Indus Valley civilization is also called the Harappan culture. Archaeologists use the term culture for a group of objects, distinctive in style, that are usually found together within a specific geographical area and period of time. In the case of the Harappan culture, these distinctive objects include seals, beads, weights, stones, blades, and even backed bricks. These objects were found from areas as far apart as Afghanistan, Jammu, Balochistan, and Gujarat. Named after Harappa, the first site where the unique culture was discovered. The civilization is dated between 2600 and 1900 BCE. There were earlier and the later cultures, often called early Harappan and late Harappan in the same area. The Harappan civilization is sometimes called the mature Harappan culture to distinguish it from these cultures. There were several archaeological cultures in the region prior to the mature Harappan. These cultures were associated with distinctive pottery, evidence of agriculture and pastoralism, and some crafts. Settlements were generally small, and there were virtually no large buildings. It appears that there was a break between the early Harappan and the Harappan civilization, evident from large-scale burning at some sites, as well as the abandonment of certain settlements. Now, we will look at their subsistence strategies. At the Harappans ate a wide range of plant and animal products, including fish. Archaeologists have been able to reconstruct dietary practices from finds of charred grains and seeds. Grains found at Harappan sites include wheat, barley, lentil, chickpea, and sesame. Millets are found from sites in Gujarat, but remember, finds of rice are relatively rare. Animal bones found at Harappan sites include those of cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo, and pig. Studies done by archaeologists or zooarchaeologists indicate that these animals are domesticated. While the prevalence of agriculture is indicated by finds of grain, however, it is difficult to reconstruct actual agricultural practices. Representations on seals and terracotta sculpture indicate that the bull was known, and archaeologists suggest from this that oxen were used for plowing. Moreover, terracotta models of the plow have been found at sites in Cholistan and Banawani. Archaeologists have also found evidence of a plowed field at Kalibangan. Further, most Harappan sites were located in semi-arid lands, where irrigation was required for agriculture. So, traces of canals have been found at Harappan site of Sortugai, and water reservoirs are found in Dholavira. But why it is called an urban civilization? When we see their subsistence strategies are largely based on rural activities. Perhaps the most unique feature of Harappan civilization was the development of urban centers. The settlement is divided into two sections. One is smaller but higher, and the other much larger but lower. Archaeologists designed these as the citadel and the lower town respectively. The citadel is in height because buildings were constructed on mud brick platforms. It was walled, which meant that it was physically separated from the lower town. There were structures that were probably used for special public purposes, like the warehouse, a massive structure of which the lower brick portions remain, while the upper portions, probably wood, decayed long ago. And the Great Bath, which was a large rectangular tank in a courtyard surrounded by a corridor on all four sides. Some scholars suggest that it was meant for some kind of a special ritual bath. The lower town was a planned town. It was walled. There were several buildings built on platforms which served as foundations. Bricks, whether sun-dried or baked, were of a standardized ratio, where the length and the breadth were 4 times and twice the height of respectively. So the settlement was first planned and then implemented accordingly. The roads and streets were laid out along an approximate grid pattern, intersecting at right angles. The drains were laid out first and then houses built along them. Every house has one wall along a street and connected with the drain. So the city has a carefully planned drainage system. It has residential buildings which are centered on a courtyard with rooms on all sides. The courtyard was probably the center of activities such as cooking and weaving, particularly during hot and dry weather. But what is also interesting is an apparent concern for privacy. There were no windows in all the walls along the ground level. Besides, the main entrance doesn't give a direct view of interior or the courtyard. Every house had its own bathroom, paved with bricks, with the drains connected through the wall to the street drains. Some houses have remains of staircases to reach a second story or the roof. Many houses had wells, often in a room that could be reached from the outside and perhaps used by the passers-by. So we have seen how the Harappan town planning was very scientific and clearly indicates that the Harappan were chiefly urban people. And this is why it is called an urban civilization. So guys, that's it for today. We will look into the society of the Harappans in the next class. Thank you.